He's destined to succeed. And I was a hustler. It's not fair to ask all the citizens of Dallas to pay the taxes for something that benefits me like that.
Would you consider yourself a capitalist?
Oh, absolutely.
You're full-on capitalist.
Oh yeah, but see what's changed with capitalism. I'm a hardcore capitalist.
We're not a full-on capitalism. You know that.
We're not though. But we've
right.
evolved, right? And so, 90 years ago, the Henry Ford days.
Sure.
If you didn't have a job and you couldn't afford it, you found somebody's floor to sleep on, and you went with your family or whatever. And if it was 12 to a room, that's the way it was. And then over time, we started having, with FDR, we started having, basic services that we would provide for you. And then over time with LBJ, it was more services, right? And welfare services. And now, we're not gonna let you drop dead in the streets. We want, anybody can walk into a hospital, or now we want you to have insurance.
What do you think about that?
I think it's right.
You think it is right?
Look,
So one would call you a Democrat.
No, hell no. Look, there's different things for different reasons, right? If we as a society decide that we don't want people dropping dead in the streets or, just dying at home, then there's a cost to that. And we can't expect insurance companies and hospitals just to pick up that cost for decisions we make as a society. Just like we want TSA at the airport, just like we want, Homeland Security. Should we say, look, don't pay for it, we'll just all get blown up, right? There's certain minimum services that we've all defined. That's evolved capitalism, and we all have to pay for that. But at the same time, that doesn't destroy the root of capitalism and who we are and the incentive, right? It just means that we're going to take a chunk off the top. Now, on the flip side of that, how we do that and how you pay for it, that's a different beast. Is the government too big? Yes. Is the government inefficient? Yes. If for every, I'd rather the government have one half the employees and just write checks to people. The old helicopter drop of cash. Just drop cash on the people because they're just going to spend it anyways. These are people who can't afford to save.
The economy.
Yeah. So I'd rather, you talk about what would you do as a president. Probably the third thing, I would take all these services we have and I would say to everybody, okay, here's 2 years, 3 years severance, and then I'm going to take 75% of what's left and just consolidate it all together and write everybody who qualifies a check, right? And then, to go to,
you have a lot of votes.
Yeah, but you use that money over, but I'd get crushed by all the unions, right? Because this is
anti. On your side,
this would be anti-union.
They control votes now.
Yeah, exactly. So it'd be very anti-union. It would be, in somewhat socialist, and you can argue about creating disincentives, and you'd have to work through those things. But the one certainty is government's too big, government is inefficient, and there's ways to cut back on the amount of money you spend. So what does it take to pay for all the services we as a country feel are legit for our citizens, whether it's healthcare, security, whatever it may be, and what's the best way to do that? And I literally, rather than saying, here's 30 programs you have to sign up for, and here's all the overhead associated with managing those services and monitoring and checking for fraud, here's the check. Here's your $800 a month, in addition to Social Security.
With no accountability?
No accountability.
No accountability.
Right, because you can't get it anywhere else, right? Now, this has got to take care of your life. If you don't do it there, sorry. Right, we've eliminated the excuses.
So there is a limit to where, listen, if you do nothing with this, there's nothing else we can do for you.
Right, at that point, it's
Makes sense.
Yeah, at that point, your family's also getting paid, right? You're on your own, right? But trying to say, okay, you've got to do this program, this program, this program, this program, is just so saturated with overhead, it doesn't work.
That is such an interesting topic.
And that's all at the top of my head, right? Yeah.
I know. So would you be comfortable with a capitalist like Donald Trump being our president?
The capitalist side, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I like Donald and he's smart. What's concerning is the way all of the candidates, Republican or Democrat, are trolling for votes. I mean, they're just pandering. What do you want me to say? I'll say it in order to get your vote.
You think he's saying whatever people
want?
Oh,
hell yes.
You think he's saying whatever people want him to say?
Pretty much, yeah. Now,
wow.
Within the realm of what gets votes, right? So
within the realm of what gets votes,
right? So it's not just what do you want me to say, right? So I need to appeal to ultra conservatives in order to get elected in a primary. And so if I'm appealing to ultra conservatives, what do ultra conservatives want? He started with immigration, that fit. Now, everything he says and does, it's okay. What's the playbook for getting voters for the primary? Now, do I think once he's elected president, he'll follow through for all those things? No, because most of them won't work. And do I think he's smart enough to figure that out and then just do the right thing after he's elected? Yes. So, like a lot of candidates and politicians, you vote for not what they say, but knowing that 99% of they say won't come true. What they'll do once they get
to see who's going to follow through with a lot of, because you don't
they
really know
can't.
with anybody.
Well, you already know he's not going to get a wall built, right? He's not going to get all these things done. It's just not going to happen, and there's no money to do it. So slice those off, and what will happen when you just put the guy in the office?
So what do you think the American people should ask about Trump as a president? If there's one question, what would it be? Is it the same thing you're saying, that do you really think he's going to deliver on all this stuff?
No, because he knows. I mean, look, when him and all, this isn't just Donald, right? This is
every one of them.
Every
sure.
single
Bernie,
one.
Hillary,
both
Rubio,
sides,
everybody.
right?
Sure.
Because when they put together their tax plan, we're cutting the tax to all this. We used the number from this tax group, right? It doesn't add up, right? And they say, it's going to cost, $30 trillion over 10 years. Oh no, the economy will increase so much. Right? It's BS, right?
How do you process the vote, though? You got to pick somebody to vote for. How do
what comes out? Look, we got 12 months, right?
You told me nothing matters till April.
Yeah, right. And so we got lots of time, and things will start. Right now, they can play Alice in Wonderland and just throw things up, and it doesn't matter, right? I mean, because none of their tax plans work. And then Hillary and Bernie say, okay, tax to 1%, and that'll pay for everything. Doesn't work, right? Won't work. Hillary's pay for college. Her plan is ridiculous. It'll increase college costs, not reduce. So they don't think them through. They just say, okay, here's my justification. But over time, they'll have to start thinking them through, and they'll have to start dealing and addressing some facts. And then at that point in time, you say, okay, knowing that none of this is ever going to pass, who's still going to be the best president when it's all said and done?
It's going to be very interesting.
It'll be a reality show.
This is going to be very, very interesting on what's going to happen. So let's do a couple things here with fun, and then we'll go into cyber dust and wrap it up. Sports, Dallas, and what happened with our, we can say runaway bride, if you want to call it, right?
Oh yeah.
So runaway bride, with what happened with them. If he were to ever call back this season, let's just say, because my opinion is this: I think if the Clips don't pull it together this year, I think something's going to break apart. That's my opinion. I'm just an insurance guy.
I don't care. Yeah, that's them.
If he called and said he wants to come and play Dallas, would you ever take him back?
No.
Never. So that
you never say never. You never say never, right? Everybody deserves a second chance.
Sure.
D. Will said no to us initially, and we brought him back.
Interesting.
Right. So, I just care about winning, and I'll put winning above ego anytime.
I notice with guys that get to your level that there's got to be a level. You have a strong memory because, enemies, everyone's got a target. We got enemies. But there's also a level of forgiveness when it comes down to...
Yeah, you're here to win,
right. It just makes sense if the opportunity arises.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not, right? I mean, look, it's basketball. It's not thermonuclear war, right? It's not like he shot my cousin, or just, cut off his pinky, right? It's basketball.
Oh my goodness. We think sometimes when we drink some of these exciting drinks you got back here, sometimes we get a little bit more excited thinking it's very, very important.